Think about the last time you said yes to something you knew deep down you should have said no to. For example, maybe a favour you didn't have time for, or a plan you just didn't want to go to, or even the thing you agreed to just dodge the awkwardness of saying no. We do it constantly, and most of the time it's small, but every now and then, one yes costs you way more than you thought it would have. For example, I said yes to one client I knew was going to be a headache down the line, and it cost me over 3 days of hard work and effort, and I had to give him a full refund back. I learned a big lesson that I actually needed to learn, and what I'm saying is yes is really costing you, and why you need to start saying no sometimes and be selfish. Here's the thing about saying yes, it does feel good in the moment, and by saying yes, it feels like an opportunity and it feels productive. But the real reason underneath that you're usually saying yes is fear of missing out, or something being difficult, or the quiet gap before the next thing comes. So this is what happened to me. I had said yes as I wasn't sure on when my next client would have came. And I was like, I will take this opportunity as I don't have any more opportunities currently out there. So anyway, I'll go a bit more in depth on this client and the situation that's making me actually make this video. So I had a client that had found me through my advertising. I currently run lead generation. He had found me through my ads, and we kind of went over the deal, what he was going to be getting, and the price range, and I had started to build. The one thing that I had noticed before I had started was there was a bit of a language barrier. Now I thought this was no issue, and I thought it would still be a job I could do. By day 1 or 2, after showing a few samples, he had a few complaints, which, it happens. And I tried to fix the complaints he had, and yet there still seemed to be issues. And by that point, I was unsure what was going on. So I decided to give him a call and try and get a better understanding of what it is he actually wants. And for context, I built landing pages as well for the lead generation, and that's what he had agreed to go ahead with. And this was around 3 days in at this point, and many, many hours of work. He had then mentioned the word shop and store, which totally threw me off. We had agreed on a landing page, which, if you're not obviously in the lead generation market, is a totally opposite thing, which costs a lot more money, a lot more time, and a lot more work than what we had agreed on. So I basically had to refund the money that he had spent on the project. I had to cancel the project, and it became a waste of time, waste of effort, and something I can't even show off as it was never finished. So I just had to cut my losses. I ended the project, refunded him like I said, and yeah, it had cost me a lot of time and effort, unfortunately, and I learned my lesson though. Don't say yes to something you're unsure is going to actually go through. If the client you feel is a headache, or just apply this in general to your situation, if you feel like it's going to be a headache, then don't do it, as it turned out to be a headache for me, unfortunately, and a waste of my time. Now here's where things get interesting. Not long after that situation, I had an opportunity to take on another client. Although I had learned my lesson and spotted red flags from the start, this person had ideas everywhere. He was jumping from idea to idea, and he just thought everything would merge together in one big project. For example, he wanted a website, he wanted AI involved, he wanted chatbots, he wanted everything all in one go, all working together for his business. And yet, when it came to even getting started or payment, there was excuses and such, and I knew this was going to be a headache for me. So this time around, I decided, you know what, I'm going to tell this person no, I cannot take this project on, and give him a list of reasons. I did not feel guilty, and honestly, I feel relief that I didn't take that job on, as I'd probably still be working on it to this day, and feel stress from working on that job, as there's so much work involved that may not have even been possible, to be honest. It definitely turned out the best scenario, and that's why I think it's important to say no, especially when your gut is telling you to say no, or when your head's telling you to say no. Definitely listen to it, compare the pros and cons, and that's what I did, and it definitely worked out best for me to say no in that situation. Even though it would have been one of the biggest jobs for me to ever do, it would have been the biggest headache and put a lot of stress onto me that I'm happy I didn't take on. So here's what I took from all of this. The real skill isn't spotting red flags, it's just being willing to act on them when you do see them. And I think it's okay to be selfish. If it doesn't align with what you want, you're allowed to say no. And people pleasing drains you slowly. You don't notice this until there's no time or happiness left for yourself. And if your gut is telling you, or the cons outweigh the pros, just say no. It may be scary at first, but you're usually right. And I'm currently at the spot now where I feel happy from saying yes or no. I usually weigh the pros or cons, and that has been the thing that worked best for me. And it's definitely saved me tons of headaches. I would highly recommend you try the same. This was just a wee quick video kind of going over the importance of no and why you should use it yourself and ensure it helps you to stop pleasing others and actually please yourself and just be a bit selfish. But yeah, I'm just figuring out things along the way. I hope this helps you too. And if you like this type of content, please be sure to subscribe.